about the horses first. So these are the Mongolian wild horse, the only truly wild horse in existence. So they're a very sturdy, stocky looking horse with a very, the upright mane and no fringe on their forehead, so no forelock. I always think they're very similar shape to a zebra. So they've got a different number of chromosomes to the domestic horse, so even Mustangs and Brumbies are domestic horses gone feral. They're not actually wild horses. These are the only wild horses left.
Brumbies,
always that colour, done with, I think it's called Kangaroo features. I'm happy for someone to correct me. I know how it's written, but I don't know how it's said. It means the snout and the belly are white. They're all looking a bit dark today because of their wet. And then the dark legs.
Let's go over here and then we can see that on the tail. There we go.
So they're a tough animal. They can put up with -40 right through to +40.
And then can you see -40? That is freezing.
So we'll go around and see those big brown things. So the Americans call them buffalo, but they're not buffalo. They're species. Oh, there's a couple of kangaroos and bums, Joey
Baby
over
ones
there.
there.
A couple laying around on the ground. So bison, their full species name is bison, just to rub it in. They are bison. Four big differences between bison and buffalo. Beards. Bison have beards. Their horns with their lobes, so the continents they live on are different. And their humps. Bison have humps. And those humps are there so that they can lift that huge head up and also use it as a snow plough. In winter time they can get to the new growth as well as the moss and snow. So you can obviously the very large one, the third one
You want
is
to take
on
a
the
photo? Why don't you
right.
take a photo?
That is Colin. Okay, we let people stand up. Yeah, I'll get out of the way. I feel like I'm in your way. So that is Colin. My brother's Colin. He's not named after my brother. My brother thinks he is, but he's named after the first keeper at Monarto, Colin Cahoon. And the first species we had here were bison. And the zoo were doing a bit too good a job breeding them, and they're very big. So they needed somewhere to put them. So Colin is the big daddy. He's helped make 5 baby bison this year, and 6 this year and 5 last year. And he was put in here to increase the herd. And we thought he was a bit of a dud actually, because of course we come through quite often and there was no activity. Kids are young enough, I don't have to have sex education. Sorry. But last year he was here 10 months, and it takes 9.5 months to make a baby bison. And suddenly there were 6 births. So 5 births out of 6 months. So he did a rather good job.
How old is he?
I don't know. Someone asked me. I've got a feeling someone said 8 or 9. Do you know?
Okay, let's go sit down because the bus is going to go.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm gonna find out. And I know Cossie, Sam Cossie, he's got himself a male and female bison. He's important. Apparently he's always wanted one. But the fencing is significant because they're very big. And they are a migratory species. They are, they're not as domesticated as our cows, so they do want to migrate. So you need serious fencing. So they thought bison, they thought there were 40 to 60 million of them on the plains of North America. So many that it would take a week or 2 for a herd to pass the wagon trains when they're opening up the west. Unfortunately, they were hunted down to less than 700 animals in about 40 years, and have been laid down there for them to have at lunch on. Alright, we'll go and see a couple more African animals. And then if you would like to, there's only one habitat at the moment that you can walk around for the Asian elephant, and that's at the next stop. The rest of the elephants we hopefully will see when we drive through the other habitats.
I can see it.
Yeah.
So these are plain zebras, so not plain as in boring, but from the plains. There are 3 species of zebra in the world: the Grevy's, which is a little bit bigger, the mountain, which is a little bit smaller, and the plains. The plain zebras, I think there's like 6 subspecies or something, but they're another feisty animal. We are not riding zebra around for very good reasons. They will not put up with any of that sort of business.
Look at them swaying their tails.
So a group of zebra called a dazzle, and it's based on the old thinking that when they're hunted by a lion, that they will group together and run, and they are dazzling the eyes of a carnivore, so the carnivore can't tell if it's going for the front of the animal, which it wants to do and pull it down, or the back end, and that's going to get kicked with the hooves. However, recent research has shown that these guys get about a quarter of the insect bites as plain skinned animals. They've done all sorts of experiments how it happens sometimes in different parts of the world. I think somewhere they even painted cows with stripes and then checked how often. I think I would have loved to have seen that experiment. But they don't get as many insect bites, which obviously in Africa are painful but also introduce disease. So they're actually thinking that is the primary reason for the stripes, and confusing the predator's eye is the bonus. But the bit that gets me is for such an iconic species, how do we not know anything about them by now? Plenty of room for kids to grow up and go off and do some more animal research. Oh, he's upright. So this is Induna. He is a black rhinoceros. As you can see, he's not black, he's a Monarto brown, but he is a hook-lipped rhino. So he has a beautiful little triangular mouth. It sounds weird, but it is really cute. And it's got a puckery top lip that he's made with his, you can see that drum has had a bit of hard work, hasn't it? He's got a little lip that hangs down and is prehensile like our finger, and it can curl around branches and strip off leaves. So his preference is scrubby habitat. Here you can see there's some branches hanging around. He will eat grass if he has to. The emus come in and try and steal his food, but the emus get a bit of a shock every now and again because he gets fed up and he chases them. And he can run at 60 kilometres an hour. So it's 1 tonne of animal. Yeah. And I always compare it to Usain Bolt, our fastest human, 44 peak. So Usain Bolt can't beat a black rhino, so I don't think we should, any of us should take our chances in outrunning them. I'm surprised he's not over here with the keeper.
That's the first time me on the block.
To get any food off the back
That's
of
the
the...
first time me on the block.
Now, if you get off here, you walk across the road to the, what we call the clover leaf, and then you can walk along where those people are on the left-hand side of the black rhino habitat.
This is the rhino one, Rory.
Going on the elephant just down there. करोगे क्या यहाँ पे? इधर इतने
Alright, welcome aboard. Hayley is driving us camping.
Mono.
We have a keeper in there. I can see a keeper. Now, this is what we call the clover leaf. So this was the original elephant habitat well over 30 years ago for the last elephant at Adelaide Zoo to retire to, Samoa. So she had just this little area. When you see the next area as well too, a lot of changes to this as well. The sides have been sloped. They can get down there if they want to. There's a huge water hole, and they've done their best to protect the trees that have come up. I count them every time I come through. When we first got Burma, well, it was probably nearly 2 years ago now, there were 9 trees. Well, there's 5 now. The idea being that the rocks would stop them from getting to the trees. They are very clever. They can move rocks, they can step around them, and they love pulling down trees. As you can see, there's another one they've started to peel back. So in the wild, walking 2 to 5 kilometres a day, and basically pulling down trees, pulling up shrubs, eating the bits they like the look of, and moving on. So just coming up, I'll see if I can tell who that is. With the keeper, it's a bit hard to tell. Usually our trick is, we look for the tail, no hair on the tail, it's one of the Taronga girls. Hairy tails, it's Burma or Permine. So, and then from there, with the Taronga girls, one that has very long front legs is Tang Mo, and she's the youngest. So a bit hard when they're hidden behind things. Alright, so the first barn is the female barn. It was going to be for all the elephants, well we're only going to have 3, but then with the next 2 joining us, we needed to build a barn for the male. And he is constantly in and out. Oh, here comes the 2 girls, good. So keep an eye on that grey barn though every now and again, because he does constantly go in and out. He has a huge walkway behind. He's currently in must, so he doesn't tend to come to the forward habitats at the moment, because he can become unreasonable while he's in must. Oh, okay. So, the one closest to us that has her foot up on, that's Tang Mo. She's the tallest, just. The youngest, she's only 26, and behind her is Permine. So she came to us from Perth. She's having a bit of a sniff around the place. Permine's a little bit hairier than the others. See, she's a little bit, and she's got a big kink in her teeth. So these 2 are obviously quite happy to share a habitat together. So this is one of the new introductions. So as you can see, there's lots of areas here. There's a lot of work still to be done when we hopefully very soon we'll be able to drop you off in the middle here and you can wander around. There's a huge swimming pool on the door side where the guys are standing at the moment that can submerge a couple of elephants. And every habitat has a water hole. The muddy water holes are not to Burma's liking. It's very much an urban elephant, I think. She likes to be able to see the bottom. When she was here alone, we had a very hot summer her first year, and she did not like those muddy water holes. So the keepers would be standing in there almost up to their shoulders and trying to convince her to go in. And when she stepped in, she would drop by 20 centimetres. Here's a bit more gardening. This is Burma garden, very early in the piece. It's actually re-sprouting, which is a miracle, but someone forgot to protect those trees. That's the end of them. But the important part with Burma and the water holes is she will go in them now because she has seen the Taronga girls and they get right in there and flop on the sides and go underwater, and so she will walk in. So they are all starting to learn from each other. Yeah, she seems to be fine with pack boom. They've been putting her on pack boom by the Taronga girls here, and I think they are trying to mix it up a bit as well too. But yeah, but every interaction, you probably watched it on the videos, has always been very gentle. So all of them have been very gentle, and we saw when Putramas first arrived, him and Hermione actually touched each other, and it was quite amazing actually. So they're saying that they are doing things like a herd. When one lays down to sleep at night, they all follow. And so that's sort of very positive signs. So that's good. All right, if you would like to walk up to the platform to see the giraffes or see the Tasmanian devil, jump out here. There's also a toilet, and you can walk around the corner to see the addax and the Barbary sheep if you would like to. Warning system. The ostrich can see a very long way. They've got very good eyesight. In fact, their eyes are bigger than their brains. And the giraffe, of course, can pretty much see over the top of anything. So now you might get a glimpse of a little koala underneath the platform, but they are a secretive little antelope. If you do see something out of the corner of your eye. The Nyala male have an amazing slow dance. They don't instantly fight each other with their horns. They side off sideways and they see who can move most slowly, the right way of doing it. And often that's enough to discourage further contact. The stars of the show is the giraffe. And our little one always moved, but always up on the hill. Okay, so they're quite scattered around. Now there's a couple sitting down. They only do that when they're feeling really safe. But if you see a giraffe get up or down, now can you see up on the hill? It's actually really hard to tell which of those two is the youngster. And the difference is 5 or 6 months and 5 and 6 weeks. So I'm pretty sure the one to the left is the youngest. They're born about 1.5 meters tall, and the first week, every day they grow up to 2.5 centimetres per day, and it all goes into their legs. So if they sit next to each other, their legs are not too different from each other. The rest of the ones, the 5-6 months old is a little bit higher, but yeah, that initial growth spurt is to make sure those legs are nice and long so that they can run with the rest of the journey, if they're on the move, journey of giraffes or a tower of giraffes when they're standing still. Got a couple of eland having a bit of a fight there. Reinforcements have come in.
Look, more are doing it.
Not sure what the argument's about. Oh. And the one that took that last charge, you noticed that her is bent, one of her horns is bent. So it's a good reminder. Horns, sit down, each sit down. And once you get a new set next to you.
Right.
So the ones that we're fighting are called eland. They are the largest species of antelope. They are the reason for the tall fences in here. They can do a standing jump of 2 meters and a running jump of 3. Were containable. You didn't have to build such serious fencing. Fabulous meat apparently, but the milk is amazing. 3 times the fat of cow's milk, twice the protein, and can be turned into long life milk, even in those hot conditions, can last 8 months. So really, really important stuff. Right, it's looking quite calm. It's obviously no storms coming. All they're all just standing around. Oh, speaking of the Nyala, up on the hill, when we get round the corner, you see it looks like two completely different species. They thought they were. The male is big, black and shaggy with horns, and the females look like a bit like Bambi. It's not really a very good description, but you know exactly what I mean. So much for being secret, so right out the open. So, wonderful giraffes. They're the youngest one is number 63 born here. Very successful breeding program. Every zoo in Australia has a Monarto giraffe in it nowadays. So the boys are currently all out behind the scenes. If you do feed giraffes, you go out to the herd boys. They will bring another male in. They're just waiting for all the pregnancies to resolve and just give the girls a bit of a break and feeding and let the little ones grow up a bit. I suppose for all the weird and wonderful things about giraffes, they have a few similarities to cows. They have a 4-chambered stomach, but they chew very hard. So after they swallow down to the first chamber, the bolus of semi-digested stuff comes up. You see this big lump come up their neck. They chew their cud for a while. It goes down into the second chamber and over and over. They like salt licks, like cows and eland as well. I think that's what the salt lick has been pushed off the edge there. I think that's what they're down. But what comes out the other end of giraffes is quite different from cows. So cows obviously don't need to worry about conserving water. So we have cow cats, splats. Whereas on the ground you might notice what looks like very large rabbit droppings. That's giraffe droppings. So when they poop, it's a bit like the gumball machine with little brown marbles all coming out. They take every bit of nutrient and water out of their food. And absolutely useless as fertiliser. There's nothing left in it pretty much. Maybe mulch, but not fertiliser. Alright, we'll see some of the ostrich striding towards us. Oh, there's the 3 youngest giraffes. Just the one walking down the hill, that's Annika. She's just over a year old. And the young ones do tend to hang out together. They will go to zoomies together. Oh, here we go. So this is a female ostrich. It's a grey dark colour. They're looking a bit bedraggled today. A bit wet. And probably not far behind. There's a male or two. And one of the males especially I noticed is really pink beak and very pink shields on the front of his legs. So he's definitely in his courting attire. Oh yes, you can see he's nice and bright pink. Yes. So he's on the mate. It's funny how much smaller they look today because their feathers are obviously wet. But you'll notice they've still got that full wing. Like unlike our ears have sort of got reduced down to a bit of an elbow. I suppose they've shed the extra weight, they don't use it. Whereas the male and female ostrich definitely use those wings. They use it to flap at the eland to keep them away from their chicks. They flap them at each other to keep each other away from what they decide is their female. But the males will also use their wings in a dance. They will do a really lovely dance. Their nectar is all sinuously. They'll get down on a knee and try and encourage the female to mate with them. And she will just continue eating and do a little flap with her wings, basically saying, yes, I'm watching. And if she wants to participate, she sits down. So it's a fairly clear signal. bald eagles can get quite large animals, so they're on alert for a long time. Okay, we're just heading through a little area we call the Bretagne. So the first people that worked this land, that's where Mr. and Mrs. Bretagne and their Greens had some land up here too. That's the old homestead that their descendants have had refurbished. And there's lots of great walking tracks around this area for echidna and different bird species, and lots of old ruins with some lime kilns and bakery and all sorts of bits and pieces up here. 1,500 hectares. So I can't remember. There's quite a few acres in the hectares. There's a two, something like that. So nearly 40,000 or something like that. Yeah, it's huge. Roads go to ruins with the hard soils. Doesn't take much to make a pothole. So it's slowly trying to take it back to the original mountain shrub. It's sort of a farmer's disappearing habitat in Australia, and obviously some of this area is grassland now because the Bretags and their descendants hand-picked all these areas clean so that they could crop. Do a circle past, and then if you'd like to jump out for the go and walk out to that entry, you can see sticking out. If you really want to get close to that white rhino, you can walk out to that peninsula. That's the two girls are up behind this green railing fence. I can see out of the rear end of one of them. There's a platform up there that you should be able to see the girls as well too. There is also a toilet here as well as was rebuilt. I think the playground, yeah, it's open again now. I think they were painting it or something. Amy's just been told that they're doing a carcass feed for life. So 3 adult males, the brothers are out today and they're doing carcass. So it just means they'll hang up some sort of carcass. It might be a whole kangaroo, it might be half a cow. It's used for lots of reasons, which we'll talk about in a minute. We'll talk about the white rhino, but just for you to consider if you would like to get out and walk up to the platform when we get to the lions and painted dogs and hyenas. See if we can get a view. He's in a bit of an awkward spot for the bus. Or maybe the gap through here. Yeah. Sort of behind all the... So this fella, oh good lad, move around the corner. This is Farmer. He is a white, southern white rhinoceros. You're trying to camouflage yourself. He has been sharpening, actually, Abby, stop. Sharpening his hook on that pile of wood pretty much all day today. So with white rhinos, they have a square lip or a wide mouth. They're like the lawnmowers. They literally trim across the top of the lawn. You can see there's no grass in there. That's pretty much been eaten or trampled. They eat about 30 kilos a day. Farmer weighs 2,100 kilos, and he's a little bit small. An average male white rhino, just past this tree we might get a, alright, might be a bit of a neck turn. Average white rhino is about 2.5 tons. It's a little smaller than average.
Is he just really dirty or
He is dirty. He is dirty. He's been rolling in mud. If we got a series downpour, he would be great. He'd be beautiful. rhino. Both black and white rhinos are green. So here we always joke and say they're Monarto brown. So whatever mud they roll in, he's actually doing his horn again. That's why he's picked that. So not the best spot fella, but his ears are swirling around. His hearing's pretty good. But his big sense of the world is his sense of smell. And his brain is dedicated to smell. First thing he will do when he comes out, I pretty much rotate them every day. He'll come down, he'll go through these great huge piles of poop or dung middens, and he will have a smell and a smell, and he can tell the girls are coming into breeding season, into estrus. In the wild, he'll be able to tell if the bloke next door is been encroaching, why they go on each other's dung middens and go, yeah, I'm here. Don't know, but apparently they do. And if it's a smell he doesn't know, he'll be on high alert. Now he looks away from they all do that, don't they? In the wild, both the black and the white rhino, the males have a territory. It's as big as it needs to be. In a fertile region, it will be smaller than an arid sort of region. And they mark it just like our animals at home do. They spray, they rub, they have dung mittens, and it's basically, this is my border. And if you then encroach into that area, you know you're doing it because another rhino will smell that he has crossed, and that's when they will fight. And they do have a high mortality rate by combat, but they don't combat often. So that's where we mix up. They think, oh yeah, they're always killing each other. No, they're avoiding each other as much as possible. So the females actually range through. It might be mother and daughter, it might be a couple of sisters, and they are always on the move. And whoever's territory they're in when they come into season is who they'll breed. It's a very different setup. All right. So in here, you might have noticed we went through 2 gates. I always say. More gates, more carnivorous. So we are looking for the fastest land animal. We're looking for cheetah. Please yell out if you see them. They can be notoriously hard to spot. Amy, have you been through before?
Oh, you have. We saw it, the dance,
There's a couple of there's a female in here, the main area. The females are solitary in the wild, so whatever habitat they get to themselves. The males form what they call coalitions or little bachelor groups. It can be related males or completely unrelated that get on. Up to 7 to 9 animals all hunting together. They don't really have an alpha sort of setup. They know who the stronger animal is. They're not going to argue, but alpha is a bit of a misnomer with most animals actually, and definitely with the cheetah. Here she is, right here, between the 2 not very well looking bushes. We will stop and you can stand up and have a look on the ground. Cheetah. So she's a very long, slim animal, and like her hip and her shoulder are about 90 centimetres a metre tall. I love her to get up and walk because they're all about movement, they're just, but they're very, very lightweight. She would only weigh 35 to 45 kilos. Maximum, really big cheetah weighs 60 maximum. So their bones are aerated like bird bones, so for the lightness, but also to get the extra oxygen into the tissues to achieve the high speed. So we talked before, I'm not sure who was on the bus. Black rhino, 1 tonne of animal runs at 60 kilometres an hour peak. Usain Bolt, 44 kilometres an hour peak. Cheetah, 110 to 120. So as you can imagine, every part of that anatomy is fine-tuned. In a perfect experiment, I heard that they plotted one at 127, so physically capable, probably on board.
If someone jumped off the bus, she get aggressive.
She might want, she'd probably first be looking for food. I mean, you can't not acclimatise them. If you ran, then you're finished. Yeah. So really with cheetah, it would be stand still, make a lot of noise, and look big because they are completely non-confrontational. I have been on, they will scan the bus and they'll find the smallest, like the baby, the child, and they just walk. And they will just watch it. It's like they've gone, take that. It's quite amazing. So like our cats at home, you know, I think they say, you know, dogs have been domesticated for 16,000 years. Cats have sort of domesticated us. And if you have a cat at home and you look at these, you see a lot of similar behaviours. They still are very good hunters. Just keeping a lookout because I think they're under here. Now the trouble is they have just had the talk, so she may be behind that hill because that's where the food will be. So the talk's probably just finishing, so she probably is behind the hill near the platform. We'll check this last one. So they're a completely non-confrontational animal. They actually don't do very well in reserves and in the conservancies because there are too many other carnivores who will steal from them. So they have no heft. They are not strong enough to fight. There are a couple of rocks up there that look like a cheetah head. I think they need to remove them. They drive me nuts every time. I think there she is. No, she's not. Sometimes they're on the roof. She was right by the gate when we left. She's still down there. Oh, she's upright too. Yes, good o. So everything about the church is trying to avoid other carnivores. So if she catches something, so that she doesn't lose it obviously. So they believe that's the connection with the tear stripes. The tear stripes they think help with overhead glare, and that's because the cheetah hunts generally in the middle of the day, and you wouldn't choose to do that if you had a choice, especially in Africa. Now, if she's in an awkward spot, she's looking at us, just coming up here, but if we go through the gate, we go too far that way, and if we go too close to the gate, we'll get hit with the gate. She's just right up there. So jump in there if you need to. So they need to come to the middle of the day. One, because other carnivores tend to be asleep. They have at night, dawn and dusk. It's hard because animals' eyesight's very good in the middle of the day. A bit like us, you know, dawn and dusk, our depth perception is off. So most carnivores take advantage of that and hunt when they have the advantage. So the cheetah's sort of forced to the middle of the day when the animals can see very, very well, and they're trying to get as close as possible, and then that last 300 or 400 metres run full pelt and,
did you see it too?
and catch what they're chasing, hopefully. Tree, but maybe, oh, she's up and walking. You see how slim? Yes. They are beautiful, aren't they? They are beautiful. Now, check out the tail. The last 10-15 centimetres it starts to get stripy. So that's how they distinguish one cheetah from the next, by the end of their tail. I mean, the keepers here can tell them apart like their children, but that's for research purposes. You would draw or photograph the tail to say this is who I've tracked or this is what I'm looking at. And a tiger is the patterns on the face that are all distinct. And the cheetah is the tail. What is she looking at?
So they don't get fed, they just get fed their meat.
They do. They have got a law that they'll like run every now and again for a little bit of interest and that sort of thing. But yeah, to be part of like, you know, the predator zoo, but you know, on years when we've had good rabbit populations, there's a lot of excitement in the carnivore areas with rabbits. Not always the bright sparks. And also too, they get caught out by daylight saving. We've been around when daylight savings go, so the rabbits headed across thinking, oh, everyone's gone inside now, and they're not. Yes. So you can tell the behaviour's different. You know, there's something going on in here. Yeah, they've caught something. But Rabbits, yeah, can't do much about, unfortunately. So they do tend to like looking out here where there's a lot of emus and kangaroos. This is just sort of native animals out here. Much like our cats at home, they love to watch. It seems like it's emu season at the moment. There are just emus everywhere. There's very few kangaroos I've seen around. A couple here and there, but sometimes if you don't see an emu with us, and there are kangaroos everywhere. So. Alright, so next stop is what we call Windana. This is where the rest of the carnivores are. So the lions, hyenas, painted dogs. I don't know. There's 2 platforms back to back. There's actually toilets up there as well. But I'm not sure whether it's the painted dogs or the hyenas in the other side. But the 3 adult male lions, they're 3 brothers. I have got a carcass feed that I was talking about. Now, the reason for a carcass feed, every now and again, it's considered an enrichment as much as a feed because they are actually, putting tooth and claw in and sinew and bone and pulling apart an animal. So it's very important for them to experience that as often as possible. And it also gives the boys a chance to just double check who's in charge, who's the stronger male, without actually fighting. So, they'll actually tug a war over a piece of meat or something like that. And with a lot of species, it's a good way of just double checking the picking order without actually coming to fighting. Most animals will avoid fighting until a last resort because obviously the chance of damage and is not possible. We'll have a chat to the staff member here. Alright, and then the next stop is the business centre.
How far away is that?
2 minutes down the road.
Oh,
Walking, you could actually walk there. You can see it.
I hope it turns its head. Can we go in that bit? No, I don't think we can. Well, I don't know about that. I think you can walk down there.
Yeah, we gotta pay for it. It's an experience.
Ridiculous. Hyenas. I think the line's gone somewhere. It's not here anymore.
You wouldn't want to be in the cage with them, would you? They'd eat you. Yeah, what? No.
Okay, thank you. Everybody that comes up here, whether they do an experience.
Mike is speaking and James is the bus driver. We are going back to...
Now members appreciate the fact that they get free attendance to Monarto Safari Park. They also get free admittance to Adelaide Zoo. They also get free admittance to zoos in Perth, Melbourne, and
another
also
bus.
Sydney. 10% discount at both the safari shop and also the cafeteria. And also some discount as well for some experiences. But if you're not a member, come up to Monarto quite often, or go to Adelaide Zoo quite often. If you'd like to become a member, today might be a good idea to do it. Because you can take a receipt from today's bus trip, enter the information up, say I'd like to become a member, and today's admission price should come on for membership. Alright folks, as you get off the bus, please remember to take everything with you. Mobile phones, cameras, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, and children.
Anchovies.
As you get off folks, just take a couple of minutes to have a look at the mural on the right hand side.